Hello everyone, it's time to revisit one of our earliest games. Yes, it was sold, I was still using a Dazzle at the time. Yay, it's actually in good quality now, at least video-wise, so. That's
So I
mine.
You say
know,
that during the FMV.
like the elephant in the room question that might be like minute fucking one in the comments section is like, where's the Arkham Knight commentary?
Eventually.
I'd argue before Batman trains his body, he must train his mind. So he went back and got Arkham Asylum out of his collection and is studying his old VHS tapes on how to, proceed in protecting Gotham City.
I like to think Robin, who has been playing computer games on the Bat computer since the days of fucking Ultima 1, by the look of the game in the animated series, has just kept the Bat computer upgraded with the latest gaming tech and has been like secretly creating video game versions of all of Batman's adventures over the years in his spare time.
Okay. I was also going to ask which version of Arkham Asylum you were playing, but the moment I saw Batman's Max Payne face, I realized this is the original rendition of the game.
Yes, this is the PS3 version, so I will be showing a little bit of the Joker missions.
Right. For the longest time, exclusive to that console until folks found a way to unlock it for the Steam version.
Yeah, it's in the Steam version, but you have to like change a variable to make it available.
I think by that definition, they're in every version of the game. It's just locked.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
This was
Hey, I don't make the rules.
Look, this was back in the day when the hottest game controversy wasn't, oh god, the Epic Store sucks. It was, oh, unlock keys for DLC. We bought the disc, we should own everything on the disc.
Or console exclusive DLC.
Yeah.
I know that was a really big. What was it? Was it Street Fighter Cross Tekken?
Street Fighter Cross Tekken was the on-disc DLC thing.
Yeah, but that was also like it was locked behind certain versions of the game. Like I remember, like thinking the PS3 version probably had like the most in it.
I think so.
So I remember like 360 players feeling particularly screwed. I think there was also a Vita version of the game too. It's been such a long time, and I don't recall the full details, but I remember that game causing such a big stink about console exclusive DLC.
I actually
And
do technically own the Vita version, so I can confirm that, like, I think it doesn't have quite as much stuff, but oh, it has touchscreen shenanigans, which is why you can't use it on the PS TV without some, like, fiddling with the hack.
God, you remember the fourth Soul Calibur game? Where like on the 360 had like Yoda, and the PS3 version had Darth Vader. And then later down the road, they released Darth Vader for the 360 and Yoda for the PS3, and people got upset about that.
Yeah, but both versions had Starkiller, I think.
Yeah, but who cares about Starkiller?
And I don't know.
There was something really weird about the ending to like playing Darth Vader's like arcade version. It's like at that point he's like holding his lightsaber and like I think Soul Edge. It's like there's something weird about Darth Vader just holding a regular ass sword.
Just like a regular ass sword, right? Despite the fact that that lightsaber just might as well be a regular ass sword in the context of Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
I know it glows, but it's still just a sword.
There's all sorts of lore regarding lightsabers and vibroblades and different materials that can resist lightsabers and blah 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 blah.
Arguably too much lore.
Well, I mean, it's not like they made it all up at one time, you know? It's like different stories added to it piecemeal over the years. And a lot of it was introduced in Knights of the Old Republic to, explain why regular-ass vibroblades can clash with lightsabers and not instantly melt. They needed to have a way for the Mandalorians to be a credible threat against the Jedi, you know?
Makes sense.
But Trav, what is your Batman Arkham experience? I guess, like in the grand scheme.
So no shit. I wouldn't have known these games existed if I wasn't binge watching your channel a decade ago.
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, me too. No. And then I didn't play it because back then all I had was a Wii and a pre-built computer from Walmart.
Ooh, E-Machine?
I think it was a Dell.
Oh.
What I want to know what an E-Machine is, but after this tangent. So I moved across the country to live with family, and my sister was playing Arkham City First time I ever saw it played in front of me was the scene where Harley jumps down in the church and you have to parry her or counter, and you just throw her to the ground. And I'm like, yeah, I'll play that. And then
Also, hello, orderly Steve Bloom.
oh my god, it is Steve Bloom.
It is
Isn't
just
Steve Bloom all over
yeah.
this game?
He's a Killer Croc, and yes, he is all over this place because he's various orderlies.
Wait, is he Killer Croc in this game?
Okay.
This
Yeah,
is
know
one
that.
of those cases where they get like a really recognizable voice actor to do the extras. Like you get Simon Templeman doing extras in games all the fucking time, and it jumps right out at you because he has that Kane voice, where he just sounds like the most evil bastard in the universe, no matter how benign whatever he's saying is.
I know it may seem weird to some. That's like, why would they like take such a nothing role? And I believe it goes without saying that every role it pays a bill in some form of capacity. So if there is availability, they will take it.
It's also a matter of, as I mentioned, I think he's Killer Croc in this game, so it's one of those things where you already have him in the booth doing a more major character. You know, just say, hey, we'll pay you a bit more if you do a few,
Oh
NPC
yeah,
lines.
definitely. Like I brought up Legacy of Kain, and those games were like in the heyday of adding DVD extras to games. So we got like recordings of like voice booth sessions where the main cast's voice actors would also be doing like the grunt soldiers and stuff, and they'd be putting on all these accents and whatnot. So yeah, most projects will have like major voice players also doing bit parts on the side. And with Killer Croc, it's really easy because, like, if that's Steve Bloom in there, I sure as fuck can't tell.
Those shackles, those arm shackles aren't doing shit.
Yeah.
Like he can still very much grab somebody.
You've heard of
maul
airport
them to
security theater. This is
Well,
something else.
the thing about the arm shackles is that he would have to struggle for at least a moment to break them, and that would give.
He doesn't even need to break them. They're too long.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It would take the moment. If he wants to like get rid of them so that he has freer range of motion, he would have to take a moment to struggle with them. They're long enough that he can't just snap them in two. He needs to get leverage, right? So if he's doing that,
Sure.
that would alert anyone around him to the fact that he's trying to get out, and they could hit him with a shock collar.
But I think if he's looking for a kill, it don't matter.
That's why they keep away from him.
yeah.
Like they weren't getting anywhere close to him. Killer Croc is one of those Arkham prisoners who like they have to count on him not wanting to make trouble, because if he does, they're going to have a lot of trouble getting him back in line.
They're losing someone at least. Like you don't have a Killer Croc scuffle without having some casualties.
The thing about Croc though is he's actually quite smart, so they can count on him not wanting to make trouble if he's not sure he'll actually get away with it.
Subtle world building. Why doesn't he get out? Because he knows he can't.
Speaking of Star Wars tangents, this was a pretty big event for us back in the day because Mark Hamill was taking the role of the Joker again. And like he's been
Kevin
doing
Conroy's Batman. So.
Yeah, and Kevin Conroy's Batman, and they've both been doing both roles fairly regularly in recent years, but I think this was like the first big time they both did that since the animated series. So this was like their comeback. And it was really
Well, I mean,
cool.
they never left the roles, like, because Justice League and Justice League Unlimited were already a thing, and that run ended in like 2005. I think.
There was a gap in between them, and Joker wasn't
Sure.
in Justice League Unlimited. They weren't allowed to use Batman characters for that.
Really?
Yeah,
No, I'm pretty sure he was in Justice League Unlimited at least.
Joker's last
Just Joker
story
though.
was just in Justice League. It
okay.
was the Ace storyline.
Okay, I wasn't sure if Ace was in Unlimited or just like first run Justice League.
Yeah. Joker kind of disappears from the Justice League universe after the Ace story. Although
Yeah.
that was written after Return of the Joker, so it's not chronologically his last story.
This was a very high profile release though. This game was everywhere in gaming publications and magazines. I first caught wind of it, as did many others, I'm sure, back in 2008, because this game was a 2009 title, if I remember.
Yes, this was also the first game I ever downloaded a demo for.
I don't remember if I downloaded the demo for it, but I was very excited because I read the game magazine previews, and first of all, I thought the game graphically was like, holy shit, this game looks fucking phenomenal.
And it still holds up pretty well. So
It
it
holds up
does.
fairly well. You can get it looking pretty nice on PC. The lighting in the remasters is a bit not great, but like if you get the Steam version, mod it with like up-resed versions of the FMVs and get the graphics, shined up in the in-engine stuff, it looks pretty nice even today. Everyone still looks a bit like clay models or wax dolls.
Yeah, I was gonna say
but-
everyone kind of looks like
Say wax
Clayface.
dolls. Yeah. Ooh, subtlety.
And, it still has that weird visual quirk where, like, every male model has the same build. So everyone is buff.
This is the most ripped you'll ever see Commissioner Gordon.
yeah.
Like in any continuity that's
It's
not like Gotham by Gaslight or some other shit.
In the 3 months between this and Arkham Knight, he fucking atrophies or something because all that muscle mass is just gone.
Look, tonight takes a lot out of him.
He just got really sad about. Oh wait, spoilers! Can't spoil Arkham City.
That game's over 10 years old. It's fine.
You're over 10 years old.
Yes, I'm 32. It was admittedly a little weird going back to Asylum because the combat isn't 1-to-1 what it is in City Onward.
No, it's not.
It's a little different, which throws me off for a little while in the game.
I gotta say though, for like thugs, these guys are like strangely overly ripped. Like not so much like they've been working out in their own time, like you would expect, but more like they're career bodybuilders, which should not be the case.
Well,
It's just-
the in-game reason is that Arkham Asylum is being used as sort of an overflow for Blackgate.
Oh yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like these guys look like they've had the kind of professional training that you have to pay tons of money for.
Everyone
yeah.
is so buff.
Which they should not be able to afford. They should probably look more like
Calendar
like
Man.
wrestlers.
No.
Like a bit more like wrestlers,
Yeah, they
They're-
all have the same calendar tattoos, the same back tattoos, the same build. Like, whatever regiment they were following, they followed it to a T.
I mean, it
Like-
worked. They have some pretty sick games.
I mean, it
so-
does work. They are impressively sized.
Well, I'm talking more about the way that they're chiseled. Like they're that artistic kind of muscle that isn't practical at all. And
I mean,
doesn't-
comic book games, so.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
JoJo.
every comic book leans hard into the anatomy, and they've kind of captured that look here. But the downside to that is that it doesn't look at all like what these people would actually look like if they were working out specifically to fight.
It's like 0% body fat, which means, yeah, you're bulky, but you're also going to dehydrate and lose stamina really fucking fast. No wonder they go down like a simple bat punch.
I mean, Trav brought up JoJo earlier, so it's like, I'm Jonathan Joestar. I'm 16 years old.
Okay.
In fact, one of the thugs you just punched to death, Batman, was in the 4th grade. You're going to jail, Batman.
So, unlike the sequels, Arkham Asylum here is more of a straight-up Metroidvania through an
Yes.
enclosed space. And
Yes, it is.
I like the game a little bit more than the other two because of that, but it's also the least replayable, unfortunately.
Yeah, if we're talking about doing that, yeah, I would have to agree. But God, I still love this game a lot. Like it is clearly not as advanced, and you can't do as much with Batman compared to City Origins and especially Night. But man, does it benefit so much from its linear structure and its a more focused environmental design.
I would say it's my second favorite after City, but
This is the only one of the mainline Arkham games that I think that the appeal of it isn't the combat for me. Like, the combat's good, but the rest of them, I'm basically just playing for the combat. This one, I love exploring and running around and collecting shit.
Yeah, there's never really a dull moment in Arkham Asylum, like going back, like maybe with the Botanical Gardens at one point or another, especially when like Titan is introduced and you got all those damn Venom pods and shit. But like outside of maybe one or two other areas, this game does not tire me out to play.
Yeah, the only like real sour point is that the final boss is kind of lame, even retroactively. Although they did do something interesting with that whole turn of events in City, so
Yeah, I mean like that's this game's lowest point though. I think everyone agrees to that, is that the boss fights are not really good. Outside of maybe Poison Ivy, which eventually devolves into a Mook Rush, and then Bane, which, you know, you got Bane, but he also has a bunch of Mooks, and then Joker himself is just Bane 2.0.
Yeah, all of the Titan giant things just fight the same way as Bane.
Yeah. John, it's our best friend, Victor Zsasz.
No, this is not Victor Zsasz. This is. Nah, okay, he's Victor Zsasz. Get over here, you son of a bitch.
Hello there, John.
No, he's not behind a phone booth yet.
I feel like there's some baggage here that I'm not quite getting.
Oh, John's Arkham City streams.
Our Arkham City streams.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was there for those. What the fuck?
Well, no, it's just funny because that whole kind of joke kind of has origins in the BrainScratch commentary as well.
Yeah.
Because I think we did something similar for Zaz in that one too, where he was just a fucking prank caller for Batman, giving him shit because he could.
Yeah. And that's all I can associate with Victor Zsasz now, because he is a nothing character.
Victor Zsasz was an interesting addition here because, like, we're leaning into the animated universe fan base by bringing in the voice actors, but Victor Zsasz is very specifically a Batman villain that the animated series would never have touched.
No.
So, like, we start off drawing in the animated series, but now we're leaning hard into comic exclusive territory. It's very... One of the things that got this game so much traction, I think, is how like deliberately and effectively it leaned into like getting the Batman lore and the Batman like basically all branches of the Batman fan base in on this new timeline it was starting up. Even the game itself is actually based very, very loosely on the concept for a Batman graphic novel.
Yeah, also, I think this was the last time Arlene Sorkin did Harley.
Might be.
I want to say yes, because by next game she'll be replaced by Tara Strong. And I don't think she did any other reprisals in animated work after this either.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, so this might be her last role as Harley Quinn.
Did she die?
No, she's around.
She just retired the role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell when it's Arlene and you can tell when it's Tara based on how squeaky she is.
Yeah. I never liked Tara's performance. Great actress all around, but like not a good Harley in my opinion.
Have you watched the animated show on HBO yet?
The HBO Max one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a good chunk of it. I've not watched it in its entirety though.
Yeah, that's a very good Harley Quinn.
Yeah, the Harley's voice in that one is really good too. Good Poison Ivy as well.
Why did Bruce Wayne make a cancer gun?
I've heard that show
Give me cancer,
I've heard that show is good, but it kind of leans too heavily into like straight up comedy for my tastes.
But that's the entire point.
Yeah,
It's a Harley Quinn show, so.
Well, yeah, but I like Harley Quinn when she's crazy in contrast to the seriousness around her. Whereas everything in the Harley Quinn show, from what I've seen, is straight up zany from its base level, and that's just kind of like, no, I don't know.
I see what you mean. I definitely have that feeling of like it makes Harley as a character feel more relatively normal compared to everyone else.
And I find that part of the joke.
Well, yeah, but it's like I'm not there for the joke. I'm not there for the joke. I'm there for the character, and the character's more interesting when she's insane compared to everyone else.
It's not really my thing either, but I mean, there's some good clips of it at least.
Where's my goddamn electric car, Bruce?
The flip side of putting Harley Quinn into more serious context is that when she has her moments of lucidity and genius, it feels more earned as well, because she is a pretty intelligent person underneath all the crazy. And
it depends on the continuity.
It does depend on the continuity. Yeah, she has done some stupid things under certain creative directors, but when she's being done right, you know, she has those moments where she really shines as, you know, a potential ally.
Yeah, I was gonna say she really doesn't, like, if we're talking main continuity, really doesn't work as a villain anymore. She's more anti-hero now than anything.
Oh yeah, she even like joined like the side of the heroes in the Joker War arc, which was pretty cool.
Lately in the comics, due to the whole Death of Justice League thing, John Kent's kind of getting his own, you know, Justice League together, and he's just kind of grabbing whoever, including Harley. And the funny thing is, he tries to get Black Adam on the team, and he's kind of going down the line where it's like, why these people are really bad choices. And he looks at Harley and goes, she's going to stab you in the back, and she goes, hey, totally right, but hey.
Well, Harley nowadays, the role of Harley, I should say, her original role as Joker's sidekick, or Squeeze has been replaced by another character. I'm not sure if she's still a
Oh
thing.
yeah,
There's
Punchline.
Punchline.
She made her debut during the Joker War arc as kind of a rival to Harley.
And she's just pretty much female psychopath. Joker,
She is
right?
like way more deliberately psychopathic than Harley ever was, which is probably part of the point.
Yeah, I think they realize that Harley doesn't work as a straight villain anymore, but they still like the idea of what Harley originally was.
Well, I mean, like, the story behind Punchline is that she got rescued from the Joker by Batman, but was actually stricken by, like, his style of, like, psychopathic crime to a point where she determined that there had to be some higher purpose behind it all. And
because she was already a sociopath.
Yeah, so she committed what can only be called serial killings in order to get the Joker's attention, which is interesting because the Joker started off in the early comics as a serial killer himself. And, you know, I think the whole Punchline arc was probably one of the cleverer, more, like, well-executed parts of the Joker War arc from what I've seen of it. I haven't seen all of it. Keeping up with the entirety of these big multi-series comic events is a pain in the ass.
And it always will be, yes.
I never know if I've missed an issue, or 12 issues, or 36 issues.
The way I look at it is that I'll pick up a trade that looks interesting, and if I like what I'm reading, I'll put in some effort to get better context or fuller context, but more often than not, I end up buying stuff that just works well individually, and I don't really need all that baggage.
Yeah.
I spent like $70 for a year subscription to the DC comic app, and I only read like one comic on it.
Oh, man.
Well, because they didn't do weeklies, which is the biggest problem.
Yeah.
And we've been on this tangent a number of times in different playthroughs, but both Marvel and DC really just need to say, hey, give us like another $1 or $2 for Disney Plus or HBO Max, and we'll let you read every weekly book we put out.
Oh, I'd love that.
I
Yeah.
was like, what if, like, the Batarang clearly missed Joker, but what if it, like, cut the wire?
I mean,
And Joker was just sent plummeting to his doom, right? Yeah, I was gonna say, that's like saying in the Arkham
what
series.
wire?
Kids. Oh, I'm like the chain link.
Well, I don't think a Batarang could cut a big ass.
No,
thick,
it was slice of
that
explosive.
is
Enough
a
prep
thick
time.
chain.
It was enough prep time.
With enough prep time, sure. But that is a thick chain. A regular Batarang is not going to break that.
And so the thing about this guy is that he's entirely time-based. No matter how much damage you do to him, the fight will go on until he just randomly has a heart attack.
You will get an achievement though
If you beat him,
if you beat him. I think I remember this one. It's called the Mano a Mano achievement too, because that was one of the first achievements that I got because I was very stubborn.
You can fight this guy the way you would fight the regular ones. You see, he's putting his hand to his face and ramming into the wall there. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
You can fight this guy the way you would fight the others, and yeah, the achievement is for technically winning the fight, but it's one of those like cutscene battles where it ends after a certain amount of time anyway.
Yeah, you keep giving him bad punches until he suffers a bad heart attack or some other shit.
When I I came back to replay this game a year ago, and I thought it was like Vile from Mega Man X, so I kept taking hits, and I'm like, oh, why do I keep dying?
No, it's purely time-based.
Yeah.
Ow.
And this was the extent of the demo, if I remember correctly. Like,
Yeah. The thing with the demo is that they use the vents to send you to a lot of different locations. Like, we'll get to a bit where it explains using detective mode to find like specifically armed guys versus unarmed ones, and they put that in the demo, but we haven't technically done that yet.
I remember what you're saying. Yeah, the vent out of the Victor'sAz room sends you off to an area that you that in the final game occurs a bit later, and it shows off some more gameplay, and
It's
then it sort of
the
reroutes
first
you through the
Predator
vents
one, right?
back to this. Yeah.
yeah, and it ends here. Like it ends before the fight.
Yeah.
Before the fight against the Titan Goon. Like you
Interesting.
don't even get to fight the dude. It just cuts to black.
They just kind of reroute you through some vents to a later area and then back over here.
I wonder if
it's-
that was
it's
done
really
solely
interesting.
for the demo, or
It was probably done solely for the demo. They wanted to show off like more gameplay.